Time may heal all wounds, but sometimes it acts as a veil, hiding painful secrets, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Nearly 6 decades have passed since Montgomery Clift, one of Hollywood's brightest and most tragic stars, quietly passed away at the age of 45. In 1966, the world mourned an outstanding talent, a haunting beauty, faded by invisible pains. But few knew that Clift's death was not the end of his story, but the beginning of a journey where buried secrets would gradually be exposed. Now, 59 years later, as the mist of time slowly dissipates, the painful secrets that once gnawed at Montgomery Clift's soul are finally brought to light, painting a more complete picture of the tragedy of a genius tormented by society and by himself. Montgomery Clift, an icon of beauty and talent destroyed. Montgomery Clift was not just a name, he was a phenomenon. Born in 1920, he quickly rose to become one of Hollywood's brightest talents, an icon of cinematic beauty where fragility intertwined with robust masculinity. Clift not only possessed an astonishingly perfect face, with eyes filled with deep sadness, but was also an actor, with extraordinary immersive abilities, breaking the rigid acting molds of his time. He was one of the pioneers of method acting alongside legendary names like Marlon Brando and James Dean, bringing authenticity, psychological depth, and intense vitality to each character. Clift's career was swiftly brilliant, yet impressively impactful. With only his second film, Red River 1948, he made a significant splash. This was followed by classic roles that went down in cinematic history, proving his undeniable talent. In a Place in the Sun, 1951, Anguish, Petuan. Clift played the working-class young man George Eastman, torn between love and ambition, delivering a haunting performance of loneliness and yearning for recognition. The scene where he gazed at Liz Taylor, both desiring and despairing, became one of the most iconic cinematic moments. Next was his role as Soldier, Robert E. Lee Pruitt, in From Here to Eternity, 1953, where he portrayed a self-respecting, resilient, yet incredibly vulnerable soldier. This performance earned him an Oscar nomination and solidified his position as a leading star. Even when his face began to show the deep marks of life in Suddenly, last summer 1959, Clift still shone with complex internal acting, realistically depicting the character's suffering and inner turmoil. He was not just an actor. He was a true artist, always exploring, delving deep into character psychology to deliver unforgettable performances that made audiences ponder and feel. However, the peak of his career was also the beginning of a chain of painful tragedies. In 1956, at the height of his fame, a horrific car accident struck Montgomery Clift's life like a fatal hammer blow. The car he was driving crashed into a telephone pole, severely disfiguring his once perfect face. This physical and mental shock completely transformed Montgomery Clift. Months after the accident, he returned to film Raintree County, 1957, and the change in his face startled audiences. One side of his face was now droopy. His eyes seemed to have lost their inherent sparkle. The scar on his face was not just physical evidence of the accident, but also a deeply etched mental scar. After the accident, Clift suffered from chronic physical pain. To cope with the pain, he gradually sank into a spiral of painkillers and alcohol. Initially, it might have been a way for him to seek temporary relief, but then it became an invisible chain binding him. His dependence on substances grew more severe rapidly, eroding his health and spirit. His once handsome face now bore signs of fatigue, gauntness, his eyes losing their radiance and vitality. Clift's decline was not limited to the physical aspect. The accident plunged him into a tough battle with depression and anxiety. He felt isolated, perceived differently, and gradually lost the self-confidence he once had. Every role after the accident was a great challenge. not just in terms of acting ability, but also a struggle with himself, with the obsession over his appearance and his declining performance. Physical pain, substance dependence, and psychological burdens transformed Montgomery Clift into a different person, a tormented shadow of himself. His tragedy is not just a story of a star suffering an accident, but a cautionary tale of how a single event can utterly destroy a life, especially when it happens to someone as sensitive and vulnerable as Clift. He passed away in 1966, leaving a great void in the hearts of fans and the film industry. His death was attributed to heart failure, but more deeply, it was the result of long years battling drug addiction, alcoholism, and untreated psychological ailments. His story is a heartbreaking testament that even those who seem to have it all, fame, money, talent, and beauty, can be crushed by invisible burdens. Clift left behind not only classic roles, but also a profound lesson about human fragility and the dark sides hidden behind the spotlight. Painful secrets revealed decades later. Montgomery Clift's death in 1966 closed a tragic chapter in his life, but it could not bury the secrets that haunted him throughout his existence. 59 years later, as society has become more open and the personal stories of stars are no longer heavily veiled, new light has been shed on the most intimate corners of Clift's life, particularly his persistent inner struggle with his sexuality and the erosion of his mental health under the immense pressure of Hollywood. In the 1940s and 1950s, Hollywood was a harsh and conservative world. A star's public image was everything, and any deviation from masculine or feminine norms could lead to a ruined career. For a man like Montgomery Clift, being gay in that environment was a tacit sentence. He was forced to live a facade, constantly hiding his true self, to protect his career and reputation. The fear of being exposed, of being called a queer or faggot, was a sword of Damocles constantly hanging over his head. This was not just the fear of losing his job, but also the fear of social ostracism, of being turned on by the very fans who adored him. This pressure was so immense that Clift had to stage fake romantic relationships with famous actresses, even public dates, just to alleviate suspicion from film producers and the press. This double life created terrible internal torment, leaving him feeling isolated, unable to truly be himself, even with his closest confidants. His close relationship with Elizabeth Taylor, his dearest friend, was one of the few places Clift found comfort and understanding, though their friendship never crossed the line into romantic love. Unlike Rock Hudson, another star who also had to conceal his sexuality until his death from AIDS revealed the truth, Clift's struggle was quieter, but no less brutal. He not only fought against external societal prejudices, but also against himself. The conflict between his true self and his Hollywood star persona created a deep chasm in his soul, leading to severe mental health erosion. Depression and anxiety became uninvited companions. The pressure of maintaining a perfect image, the isolation within his own world, and the burden of his secrets pushed Clift into an abyss. He used alcohol and tranquilizers, painkillers, to cope with the physical pain after the accident, but gradually they became tools to escape emotional pain. Substance abuse was not a solution, but a vicious cycle that drained his strength and will. Many of Clift's close friends witnessed his decline, but given the social and medical context of the time, intervention and mental health support were very limited. Perhaps they also did not fully comprehend the depth of the pain Clift was experiencing. Beyond the burden of his sexuality and mental health, the pressure of fame and expectation was also an indispensable part of Clift's tragedy. Hollywood demanded not only talent, but also conformity. Thousands of eyes followed his every move, every gesture. The media's scrutiny, rumors, and the pressure to constantly reach new heights suffocated Clift. He was a sensitive, introverted person, and fame stripped him of his privacy, pushing him into a state of continuous tension. Roles demanding high concentration, coupled with declining health, further exhausted him. He gradually became difficult, erratic on set, sometimes making it hard for colleagues and filmmakers. However, behind that difficult exterior was a soul crying for help, a person trapped between the spotlight and his own darkness. The revelations about Clift's life today come not only from biographies, but also from the stories of friends, colleagues, and personal writings. They paint a complete and heartbreaking portrait of a talented, handsome man who endured a relentless battle with himself and the prejudices of the world around him. These secrets, though dormant for nearly 6 decades, have now awakened, bringing echoes of pain and loneliness, moving the hearts of those who loved him. From personal tragedy to timeless lesson, the revelation of Montgomery Clift's painful secrets after nearly 6 decades is not merely the excavation of a Hollywood star's past. It has a profound impact on how we perceive him, the entertainment industry, and moreover, the societal issues that still persist today. This new information has completely changed the perception of Montgomery Clift. From an exceptional talent devastated by a tragic accident, he is now understood as a symbol of inner struggle against social prejudice and invisible psychological burdens. Previously, people often regretted Clift's accident for taking away his beauty and a part of his career. But now we realize that his pain was far deeper. It was the pain of someone forced to live a facade, hiding his true self just to survive in a harsh environment. Understanding his silent battle with his sexuality and mental health has elicited deeper empathy and understanding for the difficulties Clift faced. It allows us to view him not just as a star, but as a human being, with all his complexity, fragility, and tragedy. Furthermore, re-evaluating Clift's artistic contributions becomes more meaningful. Knowing the psychological burdens he endured, his haunting and profound performances become even more magnificent. Every sorrowful gaze, every conflicted gesture on screen was not just acting, but a reflection of the real pain in his soul. Clift's career, in the context of a challenging life, is a testament to an extraordinary talent that transcended harsh circumstances to contribute to art, more than just the story of an individual. The revelations about Montgomery Clift's life also offer profound lessons for the present. First, it raises awareness about mental health in the entertainment industry. Clift's life is a heartbreaking reminder of how the pressures of fame, isolation, and having to hide oneself can devastate the human spirit. Today, stars still face similar pressures, and Clift's story underscores the importance of providing psychological support and a healthy environment for those working in this industry. Second, it encourages discussion about the pressure on celebrities and their right to privacy. Clift's life is a prime example of how fame can become a prison where every aspect of life is scrutinized and judged. His story prompts us to consider the boundary between public interest and an individual's right to privacy, especially when those secrets can affect their happiness and health. Finally, and most importantly, Clift's story reflects the changing societal attitudes towards sexuality. In his time, being gay was taboo and could ruin a person's life. Today, while challenges still exist, society is much more open and accepting. The public disclosure of Clift's sexual orientation is no longer considered a disgrace, but an important part of better understanding him and the difficulties faced by previous generations. It serves as a testament to societal progress in recognizing and respecting diversity. Montgomery Clift's death on a summer morning in 1966 closed a tragic life, but it could not bury the complex legacy he left behind. He was not only an exceptionally talented actor, a pioneer in method acting who shaped cinema, but also a symbol of an era where social pressures, rigid prejudices, and Hollywood's harshness crushed the most sensitive souls. Clift embodied fragile beauty and extraordinary talent, but also served as a painful testament to the invisible burden that fame and personal secrets can inflict. The secrets of his silent battle with his sexuality, His isolation in the entertainment world and his struggle with mental health, though dormant for nearly 6 decades, have now awakened and been brought to light. These revelations are not intended to judge or tarnish Clift's image. On the contrary, they offer a deeper and more humane perspective on a great man who endured so much. They allow us to better understand the simmering pains, the burdens Clift carried alone, hidden behind the dazzling spotlight of the silver screen. Montgomery Clift's legacy continues to inspire generations of actors and directors. But more than that, his life story also poses profound questions that remain relevant today. What is the true nature of fame? Can happiness be achieved when one must live behind a facade? And to what extent has society truly accepted differences? Please share your thoughts with us. All opinions and ideas should be respected in this era. Hollywood in general, and talented actors in particular, hold many secrets that have never been revealed. And we are here to revisit those secret stories with you. If you are also interested in issues from Hollywood's golden age, or simply love the actors from that time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on fascinating and emotional stories to come. Thank you for watching.